Welcome to the Industry Insider, brought to you by PromoCorner. Each week, promotional product professionals Meg Erber, Jeff Franklin, and Stephen McFadden, along with special guests, will discuss industry news, trends, and events with a focus on educating the promotional products industry. The Industry Insider, the nerdy news you need to know.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA, and I'm joined today by three other lovely folks. But of course, before we get to them, we're going to tell you about our good friends over at Bell Promo. Look, Bell Promo is the home of the 12-piece minimum on everything. They offer simplified pricing, one low setup, and never repeat setups, regardless of the number of colors, locations, or decoration method. Bell Promo has the largest inventory of products, styles, and colors, and in top categories like drinkware, bags, writing instruments, and apparel. Bell Promo offers free samples and was one of the 2021 best places to work. So be the reason somebody smiles today and go check them out at bellpromo.com. That's BEL promo.com. And tell them the Industry Insider sent you. Why don't we say hi to Steve McFadden. Stephen, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing awesome. I'm actually getting ready to head out in a few days to go for a trade show out in California again. So, but we're actually creating a speakeasy for our booth, so that way we can keep everybody out. So I'm kind of excited.
That's awesome. I love a good speakeasy. I love a good speakeasy. I think you were part of the group that went up in Boston, right? We all went to a speakeasy. Were you part of that group?
Yes, I was there, and yeah, it's kind of like been my thing when I go to big cities is to try to find them or like look up online. And San Diego is kind of known for it on the gas lamp district. There's like half a dozen of them you can get to. So I was like, this will be in theme, and we also don't want to really meet with all the people that are going to be at the trade show, so we're gonna like keep them out and hide. So
we'll ask our special guest about a couple, because I think he's in the Atlanta area, or was in the Atlanta area, and I think they've got a few down there. Maybe he knows a few about a few of those. But before we get to him, Meg, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's June 15th. We were smack in the middle of our Promotions East social media campaign, so it's really exciting to see all the fun stuff that's going on and being put out there. Again, really excited for that show. So I just love whatever.
Can you believe 2022 is halfway over?
I'm like, what? Well, I lost like the first month and a half with like COVID and long COVID. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's like March. What happened?
Yeah, I lost the first like 5.5 months because my kids are constantly bringing crap home from daycare. So I'm constantly sick. So yeah. That's my life. So our special guest today is Pat Patton with PPAI, and we're super excited to talk about Promotional Products Works Week and Promotional Products Works Expo that just took place, and just really excited to talk all things sort of PPAI and what's happening with the Promotional Products Works. But Pat, it's customary for us to give our special guest a good 3 to 4 minutes to introduce yourself, how you got started in the promotional products industry, and maybe what you've been up to since. So take it away.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, I had a very unique path to the promotional products industry because, I think none of us really come out of it and sort of go, hey, we're going to go work at promotional products, right? It's sort of a path we find our way there. But I, for a long time, cut my teeth in actually radio sales and print advertising sales. And from there, worked down in Atlanta, as you said, which I can say this, Jeff, I don't know a lot of speakeasies down that way, but I will say in Gettysburg, there's a phenomenal speakeasy, which I think is close to you.
It is.
And then in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, there's a great speakeasy over that way. But the one in Gettysburg, I never went to. The one in Bethlehem I did, but the one in Gettysburg is actually near the cemetery, I think. And it's one of these things that's a hidden door. And unless you're going to it, you're not going to wander close to it at all. And so it's a really cool little place.
That's cool.
Awesome.
That's cool. See, I had heard about one that was in Atlanta that was, I think you get in like through a phone booth or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I'll tell you what, if you'll have me back again, if I do a good enough job this time, I'll tell you about that. I'll reach out to a couple of my buddies down there and see, if they've gone to it or not.
That's funny.
I never have. But no, back to this. So cut my teeth in that stuff, and then took a unique turn, got into higher education, and did fundraising, things like that for a couple of universities, my alma mater, Reinhardt University, then Penn State. That's what brought me up here to Pennsylvania. And then I got a call from somebody saying, hey, we're looking for somebody to do some recruiting, mergers and acquisition, for for one of the top distributors. And I sat there and, took a chance and did it. And I did that for the last 3.5 years. And, I really enjoyed it and was ready to make a move to see more about the industry as a whole. And so that's what brought me to PPAI. I've been here now for roughly about 4 weeks, 5 days. I think is the longevity I've been with PPAI. And I am my role is the distributor engagement manager for PPAI.
That's awesome. So look, I know like I said, we want to talk about Promotional Products Works Week. We want to talk about, this new thing that PPAI is doing called the Promotional Products Work Expo.
Yeah.
We won't dive too deep into that, but it's something new that PPAI is doing, and we're, certainly people are excited about hearing about it and, the experience there. So how do you want to take, you want to talk Promotional Products Works Weeks first and really what that is? Maybe people don't know what Promotional Products Works Week is.
One, it's funny because you mentioned that, because being in the side that I was in the promo industry, I knew that PPAI existed, Promotional Product Work Week existed, but being in the recruiting, mergers, acquisition side of it, I wasn't so much involved with the salespeople on a lot of that stuff. So my forefront of really wasn't on that side of it. Outside of it, we'll say the Promotional Product Works website, the old one that was there prior to DTU this year. And the reason why I say that is because it was you could actually see, when you were searching for a distributor at the time, you were able to go in there, find a distributor close to you and be able to do that. A lot of that stuff though changed with DDU this year. And for the people that don't know what DDU is, I want to speak of Direct to You, the virtual expo put on by PPAI. But, going back in history on this stuff, PPAI has been reaching end users since about 2000. How they did it early on was through SHRM, which for any HR person, professional, SHRM is an association you join to really continue your education, understand the HR capabilities, everything like that. But they used to meet with them to talk to them about the importance of promotional products. So that was really the first wedge, that I can, see that was really driven into going, let's really, start to educate the outsiders of promotional products about the importance of it. It's not just the importance of buying them and all that stuff. It's also rolling down to the importance of actually, sustainability with them, the importance of product responsibility and everything that goes into that. All the stuff that, Prop 65, everything like that comes into it. And then at about, I want to say 2014, there was a more aggressive approach to this. And that's when the board with PPAI really started going, well, how can we really unify this? It was grassroots up until then, right? And it's still a little bit grassroots coming into 2015. But, there's a lot of thought process going, what can we do behind it to really help put a little bit of oomph behind it, put some more energy behind it. And so that's when the board actually met and created the Get in Touch campaign.
What was it?
The Get in Touch.
Oh, Get Touch.
Yeah, sorry, my southern drawl might come out a little bit, so I start to run words together really fast.
That's okay. Apparently, I have a New Jersey accent or some type of New Jersey accent I've been told lately, and I say black backpack weird. Anyway, go ahead.
Talking about backpack,
I need a translator at times for me, because it might start coming out like this. Every now and again, you just got to go, whoa, pump it.
See, last week we had a friend from the Midwest on. We should have asked him to say backpack, because if you've ever heard somebody from the Midwest say backpack, they say it weird. Let me tell you.
Do they really? That's
backpack.
Backpack?
Your black backpack.
My backpack.
See, we just call it
getting a Northeastern in the South, and then you're back. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
See, I just call it a book bag.
Yeah.
Not even a backpack, just a book bag.
So do you say sneakers or tennis shoe?
Shoes.
Just
shoes.
Yeah.
I don't
Sneakers.
specify dress shoes, sneakers, any of that stuff. It's just shoes.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't really call them tennis. I would probably say sneakers.
Yeah, I say
or
sneakers.
shoes. Yeah.
When I joined the Navy is when I realized that not everybody called them sneakers. They were like, no, we call them tennis shoes. I'm like, but what if you're playing soccer? Then they're tennis shoes or soccer shoes.
I call them feet
Let's get on
gloves.
this path then. What do you call like a Coke product?
Oh,
Yeah,
I call it
Boss or
Coke
Pop?
if it's Coke. Not. I think Shannon Laredo actually posted something, and I laughed so hard because she goes, "And I wanted a Diet Coke, Dr. Pepper, or something like that." And I was like, I see what she's doing, Miss Texas, but no, if you call it by its brand.
See, exactly. I call it Coke,
Jersey?
and then they go, "Well, what kind do you want? Do you want this or that?" And I'm going, Sprite.
Yeah. What kind of
I
Coke do
got
you want?
that.
No, I want a soda, please. I'll have a Dr. Pepper. Thank you. And goodbye.
Mhm.
So yes. Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry
Yeah,
about that.
Get in
No, but-
touch.
yeah, the Get in Touch campaign. Thank you for bringing that back, Jeff.
No problem.
No, it's in
Somebody's gotta put
that
Meg on the
campaign
roll here.
was started in 2015, but actually was decided to start in 2016. It came up with in 2015, decided to start in 2016, and it was funded actually by the strategic fund within PPAI. And this is something we put out there is $1.5 million that was funded towards it. And this was really that first little get there to help, push more stuff. That a lot of that stuff was done through AMA and Adweek, where a lot of that stuff was. And what I found really interesting in doing the history on this and learning more about this was the first sort of gathering of information for this was done through LaGuardia. And this wasn't for the 2015 funding. This was back in early 2000s. But they started this stuff and doing this in LaGuardia to where you could still go into airports, do get some information from people flying through and everything like that. And then that's where we started producing these percentages of saying how many people use promotional products. How long do you hang on to them? What exactly attracts you to them? And so that's where a lot of this stuff started. But going back to what happened in 2015, they started going through AMA. They started going through a couple of other avenues in really gathering more information to help heighten awareness of what promotional products works or what promotional products can do for a buyer, and making sure to educate the buyer, because the point of this is to really help be a voice of the industry, right? And to help be able to get in buyers educated to where when they come to when they talk to a promotional product professional, they have the information they need in order to make it an easier thing for them.
It's something that we preach here in this industry. I know I hear Charity saying it a lot. We're in the promotional products industry, right? Like we use promo to sell promo. It's all about coming back to self promos, and it's not just about slapping a logo on something anymore.
No.
Because where I love this S&S shirt, I'm going to wear this for work. I'm not going to wear this polo out, anywhere else. So if it had like a really cool message on it or something like that, I would definitely wear it out, every day. And it's the same thing with these promotional products that we're using for this social media campaign. Like we didn't just slap the Promotions East logo. We were very creative in curating a fun message that our influencers could spread. And I think that goes right along with the promotional products work. Like we're showing you how to use promo to either generate a buzz or a discussion or whatever to actually sell promo. And we're providing great case studies. So
Exactly.
this might actually be a really good case study for that week. But I know generally you guys usually have promotional products work week right after lead. This year in particular, it's moved to September. And then you guys kind of replace that with this expo of sorts. Can you tell us just a little bit more about like this expo, like how it came to be and did it everything that you expect happen? Did it tell us a little
I guess
about
in my
it.
head when I hear expo too, I'm thinking trade show. I'm thinking
Yeah.
and this obviously would be different, right? The formatting and stuff. So
Yeah.
tell us about it.
No, and that's a great question. So out of all this, in DDU this year, it was announced that we're going to do a Promotional Product Works Expo. What we wanted to do to begin with is really understand, how we can effectively make this a long-lasting experience for distributors and suppliers and users and buyers. And so, what we did is this past Wednesday, that'd be May 18th.
Last month.
Last month.
It's June 15th, Pat. It is June 15th today.
A month
What are
ago,
you
we
thinking?
did this PPW Expo, and it was really rolled out as a beta version, a preview. And the reason is because we do have an event that we're going to happen in September. I do want to touch on the Promotional Product Works Week, though. The idea of it though now is we're going to make it a rolling effort of doing educational sessions all throughout the year. Instead of focusing on one time, try and create, these little pockets of opportunity for not only, the people that work in the industry, but also for people that work outside the industry that might be the buyers of this. But this event was an end user virtual show. And so what that looked like, guys, is for the people that were at the DTU show, it was that platform with an end user component to it. In that end user component, we separated information out. So, the distributor and supplier would see certain information that the end user would not. The end user was free to walk around or to virtually roam the show floor, do all that. It's very similar to if an end user went to, I keep saying end user, end buyer went to a show, a regional show, right? An end user or an end buyer show.
Heck, it's no different than them going onto a supplier website.
Very similar.
Just because you can just go from one to the next kind of thing. But
the different caveat to that is that they did have opportunities to talk to suppliers, things like that.
Of course, yeah, just the information shared. Yeah.
Well, of course, yeah. But Stephen, even with that, these guys were able, all of communication between end buyer and supplier was captured, and then therefore the information is given to the distributor. We tracked all the end buyers through the distributors because they registered them. The registration process was pretty seamless in the process of when you go on. Let's say, Meg, you're a supplier. Jeff, let's call you the end buyer, and Stephen, you're the distributor. You would go on there, Stephen, register, would invite Jeff. Jeff would accept, and then Jeff could go in there at any time throughout that day and talk to Meg or talk to any of the suppliers there and be able to, gain some knowledge about products and things out there.
And it's really beneficial sometimes. Oh, hold on real quick, Jeff. Just because I feel like sometimes the suppliers, can really sell their product a little bit better too. I mean, we kind of know the ins and outs of it. Whereas someone like Steven, he's got all these products and all these, suppliers, and then like 50 different people who sell the same T-shirt. Meg can tell you why you need that T-shirt, So it really gives like a whole different, perspective on things too. Sorry, Jeff.
Well, and I'll say this real quick to that is, the one thing I told a lot of people when I worked for the distributor side of this is rely on your suppliers.
Yeah.
And guys, y'all might disagree with me on this, but your buyer, right? But the suppliers know their product. And so if you tell the supplier the story you're trying to tell, let the supplier do the work for you. Let the supplier put the story together and do all that. Stephen might disagree with me on that. I see the little angst there, but that's my belief on it, because you're there to help provide a product to them that they want, but then find the person that's going to tell the story the best.
Now, Jeff, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I was going to say with end users, as common as end user shows are in our industry, there's still a lot of end user show hesitancy in our industry, I think, because we are 97% small business, and for some reason, mom and pop's promo feels like they've got 100% of Coca-Cola's business, but they're like getting less than 1%. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. Here's my question. Like, in the scenario that you gave, Steven's the distributor, I'm the end user. Let's say you're another distributor, Pat, in this show. Are you able to see any of my information as the end buyer as a different distributor in that platform?
No, you're not able.
Because I know from the D2U that platform, I know like if you go into a room, you can see who's there, their name, and all that good stuff. So, what information is exactly available? Like how is PPAI protecting that anonymity?
It's a great question. So one of the things we did is we went in, and the chat format is still there, right? And there were multiple people chatting in there, which was really cool to see. Exhibitors, a couple of end buyers. Even chatted in there, which is really fun to see that. But what it all said was, so-and-so name, and then it told if they were an exhibitor, a distributor, or if they were an end buyer in there. But there's no other information there. in that. And now where that information changes is the suppliers are able to see a little bit more information about the end user, because to me, that's going to help, the supplier, share the narrative, tell the story a little bit more if they're knowing exactly where it is. But it's one of these things to where we wanted to make sure that there was not a feel of so-and-so is going to be able to contact, this buyer at that time. And the other flip side of this, guys, too, is that I firmly believe, within this industry, it's a friendly competition, right? And so I don't think so-and-so would go and try and, talk to a buyer here, do something malicious like that. I don't think that's the intent of this industry at all. When we roll something out like this, it's more so how can we help to grow this industry from 23 billion to 50 billion, and be able to continue to help grow knowledge about this industry to make it better.
Does it have the opportunity for you to go through with your person? So like if I want to bring, like I register a buyer, like can I see what they're seeing so that way I can try to fit it into programs that I am educated about, as opposed to the other way around? Like I don't know the formatting digitally, how that worked, but like can you join a room or go into place at the same time as your end buyer?
That's a great question, Stephen. So one of the things that we're looking at doing after this beta rollout is incorporating things like that. So much so that we might even have a functionality to where you could actually take your client in there for a one-on-one meeting with said supplier and be able to have the storyboard written up for that one person, things like that. That's the reason why we're rolling out the beta version for it, to make sure to see, first off, how is this going to be received? How did it take off? And then be able to go into it of going, okay, what other kind of improvements can we make on this to make it, from year 1 to year 5, with this show?
So essentially then the Promotional Products Work Expo was essentially a PPAI end user show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how then do we grow from that? How is that going to kind of grow from that? How is this going to relate to Promotional Products Work Week in September then? How are the two going to be really related?
Well, if you think about it, Promotional Products Work Week is about educating, the buyers, educating the masses outside of promotional products work or promotional products. I keep getting promotional products work and promotional products all.
I know. I had to look up and think about the words when I was saying them, so I didn't mess them up.
PBW and PPWW.
And then PP.
And then just PP.
PP everywhere.
I mean, if you think about it, one of the strategic goals of PPAI is we want to be the voice of the industry. So that's really what PPWW and PPW Expo is all about. Exactly. See, I'm throwing all these together now. The people that are going to be watching this are going to be going,
I can't.
Boom, mine's blown. This is too many PPs and too many Ws.
We'll put up a jargon chart in the bottom so people can see it. So.
Exactly. And I mean, and so being the voice of the industry, having that as one of our strategic goals, that's the thing is we want to make sure we elevate the content and resource shared with buyers. And so because the thing is you want to make sure that the buyers know what's going on, to make sure that, let's say, Stephen, when you have a buyer come to you, it's not so outlandish or something like that you're going, well, hold on, let me scale you back. Maybe they can already be educated enough to be there with what they need and everything, but also know, about sustainability, about that stuff. So that's the stuff that's going to come into, the PPWW side of it and product responsibility, all that stuff, right? The way that PPW Expo, this is a lot of P's and a lot of W's, come into effect is really, think about this. You do have distributorships that hold their own end user expos, right? But then you also have maybe a lot of distributorships that don't have the bandwidth to do it. And this is their opportunity to do it. Maybe they've got a buyer that's 2 time zones away. And this is their opportunity to really link up with them and be able to get, them in the same workspaces and to be able to do that. That's where a lot of this comes into it as too, is we're trying to add a benefit to this.
I feel like most, if not all, of the regional associations are doing at least one end user show throughout the year. So why is this needed? Because you're saying so the smaller distributors don't necessarily have that bandwidth to be able to do their own, which I completely agree. We're 97% small business, and a lot of those folks can't do their own end user show. So because the regionals are already doing that, why does PPAI need to do this digitally?
Well, and I'm not saying the regionals do a bad job. The regionals do a great job. I sat on the TRASA board, for a little bit. And so in TRASA, they do a phenomenal job. OPA, PAPA, I'm not taking favorites here. Those are the ones I was more, exposed to being in Central PA. But it's one of these things to where this is a virtual side, to where virtual capacity hasn't been rolled out yet.
Yep.
There is a great component of what the regional associations do with doing that stuff. And then, but once again, what happens if your buyer's in California and you can't really fly them in for the OPA, SAGNY, whichever show, it is? Here's the next best capability there.
Did you guys have a keynote or anything, like any type of education during this as well?
Yeah, and that was something I was going to get into. Is there was education looped, and that's going to be something that's going to continue to grow. And the education that was there wasn't geared solely towards the distributors. It was educating the end buyers as well about saying, about percentages, about why promotional products are a good fit, and what kind of stuff comes into it. Like it goes down into one of the stats that was shared was talking about how many people listen to radio versus how many people don't, and that's changed drastically.
Yeah.
For example, over through the pandemic that we had. We also looked at, how many people skip ads online or have ad blockers up. The promotional product side of stuff, everything we're wearing right now is branded. It comes back to promotional products and essentially in some of that way. And so everything we do, whether it's a hat, a shirt, a pen, a book, majority of it has branding on it and comes from somewhere.
Definitely.
Yep.
Now, what can we expect looking forward for Promotional Products Work Week? Is there anything like PPI is doing differently this year? Is there anything, what can we expect out of PPI this year to look forward to?
Well, some of the stuff we're going to look at is we're building out the like I said, the expo for the fall. And in that, it is going to be an end user virtual. We are expecting to have it as a very good experience for everybody that signs up. We are going to really put some a lot more off behind it. We're going to continue to grow this and continue to allow this experience to grow to change into what it needs to be. But with the Promotional Products Work Week and everything, we are looking at continuing doing what we're doing, which is educating, not only the people within the industry, but also people that are the buyers and outside the industry that are consistently looking at how to use promotional products and why promotional products over other mediums.
I really think we need to educate distributors on how to invite and conduct themselves and their clients through an end buyer show.
That would be good, like a webinar or something. Yeah.
I really think that's why there's hesitancy. People think that they're just going to invite their clients. They're going to come through and they're going to walk the show. And then it's basically like you're inviting your sharks to swim in this pond. And that's just not really the case. And Stephen, like you had mentioned, is there an opportunity for you to, walk through the show with your clients? And I think the distributors that do that at these regional shows or wherever else there's end user shows are the smart ones. They're actually walking through the show with their clients. They're scheduling their clients the right way so that they can walk through the show with them. And then they're actually, talking with their end buyer to the suppliers about these programs or events that they may have coming up. And I think there's so many people that just don't understand how an end user show should be ran or how they can take part in it to protect themselves and their customers. But they're very prevalent. They're all over the place. So if you're not inviting your clients to an end user show, somebody else is.
Stephen, you look like you have some really strong opinions on this. I would like to just hear your side of it, and then I want to add something that
Okay, so you know how like dads and children's television shows are always portrayed as dumb? Like I don't know if you've noticed that. It's true. Like you watch any show like Peppa Pig and the
Like
dad's
Henry
like
Danger.
not smart. Like you just think like they're the worst people. It's I feel like sometimes it feels like that when we talk about distributors. It's like it's like he's like, we know your clients better than you do. We need to teach you how to
Sorry.
invite people. And I'm like, that's true for some, but there's a lot of people that know how to do it. And I just to make sure I'm defending, my point of view. So I'm like, so for me,
To
it
be
may
fair,
not
Pat
resonate.
didn't say that we know your clients better than you
I
do.
didn't
He
say
said
Pat
we know
said it.
our product.
Meg
better
said
than
it.
you do.
No, products. I meant if I said
Meg
that,
said, and in some cases, we know your clients better than you do. I'm like, well, I hope not.
I definitely don't.
I'm staying out of this fight. I'm going to sit back and watch, guys.
Hey, we got a spicy one. This is
Well,
great.
oh shit. If I said that, I take it back. I definitely don't. I do not want to deal with your customers. We know our products is what I was trying to say. So sorry about that.
Show. No, you're fine. I'm just messing with you guys. It's all good.
So, and one other thing, I know people at this day and age are almost really tired of virtual components and virtual trade shows and the whole 9 yards, but it does add a value. It definitely adds a value when there are people across the country. For instance, I'm going to bring it up one last time. During the Promotions East show that's coming up. Sorry, guys, I just have to talk about it. We wanted to have a virtual component to it, right? We really wanted to have a hybrid component to it. So we actually have the promo show coming there. They're filming the education. They're doing like supplier segments, and we're offering that for the people who can't make it because we want to be able to have as many attendees as possible, right? The more we can get in front of people, the more we can educate them. And I think it has to have a good balance. So even if I don't think these virtual shows are ever going to replace these in-person trade shows. We all find value in them. We love connecting with people. I was at one last month in SAGME, and it was an end user show. And for the most part, the distributors were walking around with them. And I feel better as a supplier when they are babysat, when they are being handheld, and I don't feel like they're trying to make a deal with me. And I'm like, who's your supplier? Who's your distributor, man? Like, I'm not selling to you. I don't have time for that. So,
and Pat, I'm actually really excited and glad that you answered my question the way that you did when I asked about the relevance of the show when there's so many regionals already doing end user events. Because let's face it, most of the distributors in our industry aren't just dealing with people in their backyard. We're dealing with clients, across the country. And you're absolutely right. There's not a digital component that does this or allows people to have that access until now. So I'm glad that that's the way that you answered the question. That's the way that I saw it, and I'm really excited that that's an opportunity that we're putting out to people. Because if Steven's in North Carolina and he's got a client in California, he's not going to fly somebody in from California to do an interview show. It can't.
And it's actually the reason I think I've told you guys why we went in and we did a virtual component for our showroom. Because it's like I can't even show people the investment we made with our showroom unless I can do that. So we did the Matterport and did all that stuff. So same thing, just taking it to the next level with our meetings, and that's great.
Well, the way I look at it too, when I was on the distributor side, which I was on the distributor side as early, in January, and I was down in Orlando, and we were there, we were in Vegas, but I was down there. I was talking to a supplier, and the supplier actually said to me, I'm not going to name the supplier, but the supplier said to me and said, I actually prefer the virtual shows over other things. And it's not really putting weight on it, but it's saying, how can you better use, a lot of things. And that's what this one individual person said. And it's just one of these things to where you've got to be able to, with what happened with the pandemic, you've got to be able to pivot with everything that now we've been exposed to.
Yeah.
And so how can we now encompass in-person shows, virtual shows, and not really have the fatigue that comes from a lot of the stuff. And so, by looking at creating one end user show throughout the whole year, I think that only helps to heighten it and really helps to complement every other thing that's going around, because that's what we want to do. We want this to complement all the other shows that are going on.
Meg, Steven, anything else to add?
No, I'm excited to see where it goes and see what the next development is and how it keeps adjusting and evolving, and I think it's great.
Very cool. Meg?
No, I'm excited for Promotional Products Work Week. I always have fun with that. I know you guys put a whole toolkit out for suppliers and distributors to use, and it's fun when you see people engaging in that and like seeing promo in the wild almost, and or just showing their case studies. It just gives another talking point. So I love it.
And Meg, I'm glad you brought that up because that is something that will be rolled out again this year. That is something, as you said, with Promotional Product Work Week, the toolkit will be coming back out. That's going to be a member benefit to have of that. The video itself that we use, it somebody can usually book in to put their brand on front end and back end of the video. That's going to be there as well. So there's going to be a lot of things rolling out for distributors, suppliers alike to continue to help grow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Meg. Who's the home of the 12-piece minimum on everything?
Is it Bell Promo?
It is our good friends over at Bell Promo. Look, they offer simplified pricing, one low setup on and never repeat setups, regardless of the number of colors, locations, or decoration method. Bell Promo has the largest inventory of product styles, colors, and in top categories like drinkware, bags, writing instruments, and apparel. So Bell Promo offers free samples and was the 2021 best place to work. So look, go check them out. Be the reason somebody smiles today. Bellpromo.com. That's BELpromo.com. That's a very nice cactus margarita glass you got there, Meg. That came from our good friends over at Bell Promo, didn't it?
It sure did. Our buddy Tom sent it to us. When I was drinking out of my Travis during the ad read, I texted my daughter. I was like, bring me the cactus margarita glass. She's like,
that's funny.
At the door. And I'm like, there's one.
Yeah. Hey, I should mention I did get my piñata in my bag. I don't know if you can see it up there or not, but I've got them resting on my shelf. So it did come.
My daughter was like child of the day, and she's allowed to take a toy, and she took the piñata to school. And today's hat day, she wore the sombrero. I'm like, that's
funny.
People.
That's awesome.
My kids stole my sombrero like as soon as I was finished with that episode. They came home and they were like, "Oh, I want this."
Yeah.
Lacey was wearing it around like all day. So
Adeline wore it to school today. So there's that.
Somebody stole my sombrero.
Promotional products work.
Yep, there you go. All right, guys. Well, listen, really, really appreciate you, Pat. Thank you so much for joining us and talking to us about everything PP, PPW, PPWW, and all of those other acronyms. Really appreciate your time and super excited to hear the news and looking forward to seeing where it goes. So until next time, guys, we'll see you. And Pat, thanks again.
Appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.